When you get married to someone, you say forever, you allude that it's going to be forever, but no one knows if they or their partner are actually going to remain faithful for forever. And after all, trust is the essence of a relationship. So we need to know that our partner is going to be faithful. This is why many couples don't talk about how they feel, their temptations. Everyone is tempted, but not everyone takes a hold of the temptation and goes further with it. Many people, especially when I see couples who are more emotionally mature, are able to be open about their temptations. And what I think as a therapist is that's a really good idea. I think every couple, before they get married, they should make a plan to affair-proof their relationship. And one of the ways you do that is you talk about what you're going to do when you're tempted. I have a list of ways I think are going to help you avoid temptation. So I believe that if you're feeling that that's a concern of yours, then talk to your partner and make sure they watch the video too. They may deny it and say, well, no, I never feel that way. But I'm telling you, marriage is really tough and it goes through a lot of ups and downs. And when you're feeling vulnerable and when you're feeling worthless, getting attention from someone else means a lot. And this is basically the first idea that people could be unfaithful. So rather than just say, no, it'll never happen to us, refocus and talk about a plan. These are things I would recommend you put in your plan. First of all, be aware of your temptations. Be aware that you're a human and you can fail. When people deny their ability to ever be tempted, that's what scares me. I think it's much better to keep the option open that what would I do if I were, and work from there. Secondly, tell your partner about your weakness. If you are more prone to temptation or you have cheated with someone in the past, it's better you come up front with your partner and you say, listen, I don't ever want to do that. Or maybe you witnessed your parents cheating. You don't want to do that in your marriage. So you make sure that you talk to your partner about your feelings with temptation. You find an accountability partner. An accountability partner, one of them can be your partner, but it's better if your accountability partner is the same sex and it's someone who's basically watching you, who you're able to talk to. And if you're out with them, they're able to say, let's get out of here, that you're able to be honest and say, I could get in trouble here, and your partner or your accountability friend will say, let's get out of here. You got too much to risk to ever, succumb to this. Get counseling. Counselors work with this. And in fact, with pre-marriage counseling, it's an area we go over a lot because we've seen it be the downfall of many relationships, and we don't want that relationship to be yours. Think about how it will affect your relationship. If you're out and you're feeling really tempted, maybe you're away on a business trip, or maybe you're just out by yourself and you feel it, think about your partner. Shift your thinking right away to your partner and what that would do to them as well as any children you have. Before you entertain the idea of another person, always focus on the partner you have at home. Ask yourself if your partner deserves it. Many times, in fact, I think the majority of my clients, when they have given into temptation, they have rationalized that their partner deserved it. Maybe their partner was hurtful to them or rejected them in the bedroom or something like that. It doesn't matter at this point what your partner did. What's more important is that you realize you do not have to get involved with another person if you're angry or upset or hurt from your partner. There are a lot of different things you could do that would be much wiser. Getting involved with projects that are going to benefit the community, yourself, or your church are a much wiser decision than getting involved with another human being that could potentially lead you astray in your relationship. Avoid friends who encourage you to cheat. Any friends who would say, yeah, man, you deserve it, or yeah, I think you should. She's not very good. You can do better. She's not good to you. those are not friends, guys. Those are people who have lost in life and they want to put you in that same situation. They probably look up to you. They're probably a little jealous. And when they say those things, they're trying to bring you down. They think that's somehow going to level the score, that then you'll have failed too. You don't want to do that. And I wouldn't hang out with those kinds of friends. Cut or limit ties with those you're attracted to. This is very important. You start thinking, okay, this person, when I'm around them, I see myself that I could really get into trouble with them. Then you start limiting how much you're around them. And if you are around them, you're around them with your partner or maybe really good friends, maybe your accountability partner who could see what's happening, but be able to forewarn you and say, you got to get out of here. Stay away from places you should not be. If you're going out, your guys' night is going out to a bar where there's a lot of people that try to impress you and woo you, then I think it's important that you don't frequent those places, because you're trying to protect what you have at home. And that's the most important thing you can control, is just avoiding the situations that will make temptations more prone to happen. Develop transparency in your relationship. Let your partner see your phone. Share passwords. When you post on social media, post both of you. There's a lot of things you can do. For example, when you're out on a business trip and you talk about your partner, your wife, or your husband, all of a sudden you're drawing a boundary. You're doing it in a kind way. You're telling this other person that you're married or you're with someone. And that's an important way of also reinvesting in your relationship at home. Practice mind over matter. When temptations start, it's something you're feeding yourself in your mind. You can remove yourself from the situation. You can go work out. You can distract yourself, do something with your kids. You can call a good friend. You can do a lot of different things besides go through with that. This happens a lot on the computer. You're surfing. It's kind of silly. You start talking to somebody, and before you know it, you're involved in an emotional affair. You don't need that. And that's why it's important that you distract yourself with other things. Fix whatever problems there are in your relationship. If you guys aren't communicating well, if sex is not going well, or are other signs of intimacy, then it's important you get counseling. And if your partner's resistant to going, then go for yourself. Because remember, you're part of this. And it's important that you're coming from a place of understanding, not only of your partner, but of yourself. You can fix a lot of issues by working on yourself. Confront the other person if necessary. Sometimes people who sabotage your relationship are people trying to woo you away. In fact, the most attractive mate is one who is successfully married. And you want to remember that. You don't have to blame them. You just have to confront them and say, hey, listen, you got to lay off. I'm married and I'm not available. I'm really with my partner. That sets the boundary clear, and they'll leave you alone. They're basically waiting for that. They're just going to push it as far as they can. Weigh between love and lust. When you are attracted to someone, it's mostly out of lust. Love doesn't happen like that. Love takes a long time to build. Are you going to throw everything away for one moment or experience of lust? That would be a really bad investment. And it also can help you kind of come logic again from your temptation and think about what you're doing. And lastly, I think prayer helps. I think finding the courage in prayer, telling God that you're flawed, that you're tempted, and that you need additional courage. I don't know what it will do for you, but for me, as well as many of my clients, prayer is a wonderful way to stay strong, to keep my boundaries firm, and to stay very happily committed and married.